It's me, Steve Sheridan, multiple on the line, and today I have a very delayed tournament report of a tournament I went to about 2 weeks ago now, which is strange for me to say. I usually make these only a couple days after, but I've been incredibly busy the last 2 weeks. If anyone's up kept with anything I've been saying, so I apologize. I wanted to get this out earlier, but I've just been swamped with other stuff. Uh, so this was a GT down in mid Florida from Layton Gaming. I've never been there before. It was a great experience. I would highly recommend it if anyone lives even in the state. I would easily drive a couple hours just to go there, you know, up to like 4 or 5. It was awesome. It was a great store. One of the best stock stores I've ever seen when it comes to Warhammer products and other products, not just Warhammer store. It was really cool. So, you know, before we get into it, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. If you need any coaching, hit me up in the Discord. It's pinned in every video. Just send me a PM, Steve Trimble. Very easy to find. Be there. But yeah, let's get into it and start and talk about everything that happened. All my rounds, all my opponents. I had 5 amazing games, for instance, so no fun drama to talk about. Thankfully, I had an awesome event. It was one of the best experiences I've had in a long time. Like I said, this was like I said, lane gaming. I was very apprehensive going into it because the the layout of the terrain format was very goofy, to say the least. It was all day 1, layout 4, and then all day 2, layout 3. Layout 2, not 3. So very shooting favored. And I'm doing stuff for teams right now. I'm doing a lot of CSM, melee base CSM more specifically. So I was very apprehensive about going. So I know I had a lot of lists. I had variations I could have made, but I really liked the list I've been playing, my team style list of all melee, as I do. So I said, fucking lock it in. The list I named was called 0-5 I'm dropping. I didn't go 0-5. You'll see at the end. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, and it also was good information to see playing the list on a very bad terrain format for myself that I still could work, which is really cool. All right, so we'll get to the score. So these are top 8. John Lennon won. Not surprising, especially playing the army he was playing, Deathwatch and Layout 4. Not surprising at all. Morgan, one of my friends, one of my good friends, played pretty much the whole top 5 and 6 are all the boys, all good friends here. So it was a good to Morgan playing Tau Monka. Not surprising in Layout 4. Me, I got 3rd playing CSM. I will get very lead. I lost to Garrett playing round 4. On 4th, he lost on top table to John, so Garrett actually got to the end of the end, which is really sweet. Good job, Garrett. My good friend Garrett. He's from the Objective Secured channel. Does a lot of great nice content. If you want to see, I think I'm pretty sure he did a retrospective of this game or the event itself. So if you want to watch the video, go to his channel. I'll be doing. He's one of the ones I'm doing. Part of the team event, the ETC event next. Not next month. This month in about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. Along with number 5, Rice, also playing Tau, and then John also. I didn't even notice until I read this. Just freaking 3 Taus in the top 8, and then Cameron playing Depths Custodes, and finally Jarrett, who I played playing Necrons. That was our round 3. All right, we'll get into it. As you can see, a lot of my very good scores for me. My loss is decent. Here's my list. This is Huron's Marauders. This is let's move my face now that we're on the other side. This is a list I've been playing a lot. It's been a great and very fun list. Very melee, durability, high OC, speed based. Skew, I guess you could call it. This is literally the exact way I love playing Warhammer. Big beefy infantrymen taking up the board, killing anything, going really fast. If there's anything viable in Warhammer that plays like this, I do play it. I do love it, and I will play that. That's Magic 9th Edition and Plague Marine spam, Custodes in general, stuff like that. CSM throughout this edition a lot of times, etc. You know, I don't just like durability skew. I like durability skew that can do stuff. Like I don't really like Wrath of Rot because it's just durable, doesn't hit hard. I never wanted to play Bulgrim for instance. I want things that are fast and hit hard and take a punch. I love that, and it really shows a lot of my skill in melee when I can do stuff like this. Which, you know, is if you've seen me for only Drukhari and Social Spy, it's the exact opposite of that, except for shooting. I guess it's still melee. All right, so, you know, get that little peel out of the way. So the list, we got Huron, we got Abaddon, we have Cypher, We have Masters of the Maelstrom. We have Bile. We have 10 Cultists. We have 2x10 Chosen. We have 1x5 Chosen. 2x10 Possessed. And a Rhino. Oh, sorry. And I have 3 bikes. 3 bikes. But other than that, that's the whole list. Yeah, nothing else. I didn't miss anything else. Just the bikes with melted guns. Apologize, I missed that. I'll write my list in the description, make it actually correct. But how this goes is Abaddon leads the 5 Chosen, Master Maelstrom attached to a 10-man Chosen, and then Huron leads them. Bile leads the other 10-man Chosen, he hangs out in the Rhino, and the Possessor by themselves. So what this list does, it does exactly what I said. It's incredibly durable because it's all T4 or T6, so T5 with Bile. It's all 3 wounds, a little bit have 4 wounds, Master Maelstrom. It all has at will 4 invul save from Abaddon, and that's the more unique thing. You're taking Abaddon here for the invul save aura, which is kind of unheard of. You take it for the rerolls 99% of the time. So you lead a bunch of 3 wound guys with 4 invul saves, decently high in toughness, especially in possess. So think of it, Custodes that goes at Mach 5, in a lot of ways hits harder, and is very good at primary because Huron has an OC of +1, has an aura of +1 OC. So at will, you can make a whole possessed squad 20 OC, and it's by unit, but not by model. So if he just tags the end of a unit, the whole unit gets +1 OC. His unit is 32 OC passively with resing, so it does a lot of amazingly good things like that, like in Huron's Marauders. Also, attached ability leads itself that way. You have +1 hit at all times, so your arm just hits on 2s with usually sustained hits. And then if you have LOS of Huron, the model, any range, you get fallback, shoot, and charge. So you're incredibly mobile. You're incredibly hard to sit down. And then you have incredibly good strats. Like you have 1 CP auto advance 6. You have 1 CP advance shoot and charge, which is really good for, obviously, just for the possess. You have 1 CP +1 attack, which is just scales exponentially of things like possess because they have dev wounds, or things like Huron because they have 16 models. You have an uppy down strat that comes in handy, and most importantly, one of the best blood surges in the game. The blood surge is after you are hit, you don't have to take any damage. You make a D6 blood surge, but it's also any unit. So you can use it on the Rhino if you need to, or the bikes, not just infantry. So it doesn't require you to take any damage, and it works on any unit. So it lets you lead into that skewy aspect I was talking about of Huron. You have like Huron or the Possess sprinting forward, because Possess in this tantrum can just go 15 inches whenever they want. Sprinting forward, charging stuff, maybe consolidating into other things, especially if it's Huron. And if they try and run away, Huron can react and move, and potentially the blood surge. So a lot of times you're like running at the opponent, they come closer to maybe steal the primary back or shoot you, and then Huron react and moves forward, and then sets it up for an auto blood surge, and then they're kind of just in the shitter at that point. That's what a lot of lists does. It hits incredibly hard, it goes very fast, and it's quite durable, and has a lot of primary control. I would say this is probably, with Spectacle Spite, this one's probably slightly better. The best primary denial army in the game. Like, it's really hard to stop Huron who just says, I'm 32 OC, this is my objective. Same thing, at the same time, it's hard to take it back because they're incredibly high durability too. So this army plays primary, or bullies primary. It doesn't just play primary, I guess, but it like bullies primary better than anything, which is really fun. All right, first game. This is T-Sons, he's playing Grand Coven. You got Magnus. You got 1 Winged Prince with the Eldritch Vortex. That's the damage enhance. So he gives you like +1 strength, +1 damage, maybe AP2. He's also Sorcerer with Incendium on disc. That's the, you can do bolt twice and once per game. 2 normal Sorcerers, 1 Sorcerer in Terminator armor with the Umbrellific Crystal. That's the uppy downy enhancement for Grand Coven. We have 3 squads of Flamer Rubrics. We have 2 squads of 2-man Secutar robots with all guns. He didn't take any claws. We have 2 3-man Spear Goats, and then a 10-man normal Zangor. To reiterate, all 3 games, round 1, 2, and 3, are played on layout 4. So I don't need to reiterate that. But I see this is a pretty handy win. This is kind of what goes in a lot of the wins. Essentially, the game really only gets two turns, 3 really, but it's just we'll see. So here's a score. I got 92 to 32. Very hearty score for me. My opponent did very well. So I don't know why, but I apologize. But the T-Sons pictures, most of them are blurry for some reason. They're not blurry on my phone. It's the only set that's like that. So we're gonna try and go past them as much as we can to not hurt our eyes. So this is deployment. This is a very normal. This is kind of how you have to do on layout 4, because layout 4 sucks. But what I had to do on all 3 games, due to not having any space, is I had to and this one is Tipping Point. The other 2 are Crucible. Is I had to reserve a possessed, which is not what you want to do on this detachment. But there was physically no space, so that sucks. But it is what it is. So a lot of times I'm putting a bike squad over here, a brick in the middle, maybe with the Rhino, so usually possessed, and then everything else down here. So here's Huron, here's Abaddon, here's my Cultist, and here's my Rhino. I put my Rhino out in the open, knowing that this army, T-Sons, is quite low range in a lot of ways. All right, back to I deployed the Rhino out in the open, one, because I didn't really have an option, and two was pseudo bait. Due to I know this army has almost no long range shooting. The army is pretty much 24-inch guns. The army. So unless Magnus wants to pop his doctrine of like plus 6 inches ranges on turn 1, or he has to come out in the middle to shoot me. Otherwise, Rhino can't be shot. And I'm like, those are all fine. And then at the same time, even if he does kill the Rhino, the guys inside get to come out for free because something else can really shoot them. So perfectly fine with that. So my opponent goes first. I think I have myself labeled as first, but he went first. Yeah, he goes first, not me. Because he moves a lot of his army up and around, like he advances his like Terminators right here. He moves Magnus over here to where he is over here to shoot me. And he advances he advances some rubrics right here in the corner and stuff, and then he adjusts some Secutars to go here and such. What he does is he tries to move block me and such, but he puts some Zinc Goats here. And I'm like, that will trigger my reacted move on Huron. Are you sure you want to do that? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. And I roll 6. So what I do is I find, because Magnus is right here now, imagine he's right here shooting through his wing. I find his LOS, which is here, and I diagonally move Huron where you can't see him. So Huron gets to move 6 inches forward right here on his turn 1, and he has some Terminator stuff right here, and they can't shoot. So it puts me in a great spot. He does the plus doctrine thing on Magnus, and Magnus ends up killing the Rhino. So Bile just pops on out, he's like, boop, and that's fine. Or maybe I went first and I just... Okay, sorry, I apologize. No, I did go first, and what I did is I moved Huron into this corner. Maybe, I don't remember. Maybe I moved this Rhino up slightly? Something like that. It doesn't really matter. I think I did go first, and I just scooted these possessed up. And then put my... I don't remember. This doesn't matter. Either way, I didn't... If I went first, I didn't do anything. I just would have just moved Huron slightly into this corner where he can't be seen from Magnus this way. And just ended my turn, and then maybe the Rhino scooted up slightly, and then I repositioned my possessed to not be seen as much. But either way, it didn't matter. But other than that, the thing that actually mattered was the reactive moving Huron, because then it put me in a good spot. Because now I got Huron diving deep in. Because I also remember he moved his Secutars over here too. This part doesn't matter. Sorry, this was 2 weeks ago. I'm trying to remember. So now I have my Huron 6 inches farther than he should be. He has no way of shooting him turn 1. Bada bing, bada boom. So we go to my next turn. And he has a Terminator right here. He has some Rubiks right here. He has his robots right here, or dead at this point. I don't remember exactly. And he has some robots here. And then we see, yeah, this is what it is. He has Bogots here, the ones that trigger react move here. Magnus hanging out in the middle. And then as you can see, there's, oh, here we go. I didn't even... What is happening? There's Huron. Abaddon comes in later. There's Abaddon. Okay, so here we go. I guess we'll get to this then. So what I do is auto advance Abaddon 12. Boom. He ends up right here. And what I do is I charge Huron into both squads, and I leave a tiny little space right here where Abaddon fits with a pile-in, because he doesn't base. So I charge Huron and Abaddon into the Sorcerer and the Terminators. They just kill them all, except the Lord. The Lord lives at 1 wound or something. I kill all this crap over here. We move up. Bada bing, bada boom. My Bile squad runs in the middle, ready to die, as Bile loves to do early on. Beat up the guys in the middle, T-pose in the middle. Abaddon's Huron's chilling. I deal with these Bogoats with some bikers with my bikes. And then I think I consolidate into these. Yeah, here it is. I consolidate into the robots. I had one robot in combat right here. He kills the one but I beat up the bows, the goats. I consolidated these robots. So they're kind of stuck in combat. And I like I said, I sent Magnus, I sent Bile up. He sends Magnus in the middle to deal with Bile. He rapid ingresses or just deep strikes a sorcerer over here, his prince over here to try and clean up the Abaddon squad and try and deal with Huron squad that's back here. Huron got his butt beat up a little bit. He lost most of his squad, but he's still chilling as he does. And then the winged prince takes most of his wounds, so he's almost dead. And then he charges in, kills like 2 of Abaddon's chosen because he kind of whiffed, and then Abaddon sent him to hell. And I rapid ingress my possess down here. I think I'm down here, and one squad probably died to Magnus. But that's currently. Oh, I rapid ingress up here. Sorry, it's right here because he brought his Rubik squad over here to try and kill my bikes. So I rapid ingress him over here, and they beat the crap out of the Rubiks and such. It's right here. The bikes lived, and then I charged everything in the middle. Everything was dead. That's why there's not a lot more pictures. It's just at this point he had a winged prince, 3 Rubriks, some useless Angors, and Magnus alive, and then he lost all of that in the next turn. So this was kind of sadly a fumble on his part. Triggering their active move in general. It's just, giving me all those inches he didn't expect, especially since he already advanced everything. But that's, sometimes it happens. It sucks. But that's also why Huron's so good, because he has that ability. And like I said, I did very much. I'll let him know I'm going to do this. If he sits there, are you sure you want to go there? And he's like, yes. I was like, okay. That's the game. Like I said, it ended about 3 turns. I got to beat his most important unit on turn 1, and then the game kind of just went on from there. And there's a little Cypher. Look at little Cypher. He's hanging out. He's over here too. He lived all game. Go Cypher. All right. Next game, Eldar, which is Ynnari. Very cool. We haven't seen Ynnari in forever. If you ever pay attention, this is pretty much one of my favorite armies last year until GW essentially told me I wasn't allowed to play it anymore. But I had a lot of fun playing Ynnari. All right, so I got all 3 Ynnari characters: Vizarchian Kari of Rain, 11 Storm Guardians, 1 Wave Serpent, 3 Fire Dragons, 2 Striking Scorpions, 2 squads, 1 Warrocker, 1 4-man Conclave squad, 1 single Warlock Bike, 1 squad of Warp Spiders. It says 5, but it's a 6-man Wind Rider squad with scatter lasers and 2 single Wraith Lords. And for leading, he has a Year of Rain in the Vizarch with the Storm Guardians hanging out with a Warlock Conclave, so getting that big Flamer squad that can also res a bunch of Warlocks every turn. It's pretty cool. There's a score, 59 to 29. Eldar is not in the best place here possible, especially Ynnari. And Eldar, one of its bigger weaknesses has always been like infantry spam. It's like not actually that efficient of killing mass amounts of maybe slightly durable infantry squads, like something specific like my army. And then we're playing on Terraform, which, my army is not amazing in Terraform for obvious reasons. Yeah, his army's a little better than mine. So here's our deployment. Very similar to the last deployment. The picture's over here. We have a bike squad up here. This one is on Crucible this time, right? So, yeah, it looks like Crucible. Bike squad up here. Mine are converted from Outriders. I got a bunch of Chaos bits on Outrider bikes on smart bases. They look great. I love them. 1 Possessed in the middle. Same thing as here. Abaddon in the back with his chosen. Biles Rhino right here. Huron right here. Strung Proud. Here he can deploy actually in the thing behind a wall. Nice and safe. And what he does, he puts some Scorpions over here. He put some Scorpions right here. And I went first, right? Yeah. He puts them here and they scouted backwards. And the rest of our army's screwing about. Here's his Wave Serpent. Here's a little dude. Here's a little walker guy. God, my brain is broken right now. Here's his bike squads, and here's your brain brick over here. So this one I sadly did not take a lot of pictures for, because the game fundamentally did not last too long for that reason. So what I did first off is I disembarked Bile and sent him southward, because one of the best plays you can do this army is essentially just suiciding Bile, sending him forward, because he's really annoying to deal with. Higher toughness. They blank essentially 2 first saves, because you blank a save and this guy takes a damage. And like I said, they have high stats, so they're really annoying to deal with. They can at will just go 15 inches out of a Rhino and just say, screw you, I'm gonna come charge you. So that's a lot of times what I do. I have to be here to go deal with these striking Scorpions, while the rest of my army just scoots up. So you say I just move her into the wall, I repositioned my possess. I just sent my Rhino to the top to like, you know, reposition to maybe go do a secondary like terraform. I don't get into any terraforms turn 1 because I stuff to do. My bikes just move into the corner because if they go here, they'll die, and such like that. So I'm going to send Bile here, but we deal the striking scorpions, all that jazz. He puts the striking scorpion in the middle. I think terraforms it and, you know, sets me up to kill them. I do shoot them to death, and that's why Yinkarn eventually ends up there. You know, I have Bile here ready, and what he does, he sends a lot of things down here. He sends his bikes over here. He sends whatever her name is, Yvrain and her warlocks over here. All that jazz. He sends like 1 to 2 world of the Ghost Glaive guys, God, Wraith Lords over here to, you know, try and deal with my Bile brick and force me to act. So what I do is I send Huron in. I send Abaddon too, but he rolls like a 1 on the advance. So I'm like, you can't actually go anywhere. So he at least sits back here like an idiot. I reposition my possessed ready to go come in later as like 3rd and 4th wave, and then I have my rapid ingress possessed ready to come in on like turn 3 or turn 2. So yeah, I eventually kill her whole squad with, I can't remember. I think it was possessed. I think it was a possessed squad that he did eventually kill. Yeah, because I popped dev wounds. He was surprised how much damage it is. But you know, when it's 50 attacks on 2s, sustained hits, wounding on 3s with dev wounds also, it like killed the whole squad through -1 to wound. So I did that. Huron came over here after that. Oh, that's what I did. Sorry, this was like, this must have been turn 3. So what I did is I you know, sent Huron over here. I rapid ingress possess right here after he sent your Yvrain and stuff to deal with my my Bile squad. Bile's over here, as you can see. You deal some damage, blah blah blah, and possess rapid ingress and charge in and wipe your Yvrain's whole squad down to maybe just Yvrain or the Vizark, or the whole squad, either or. It left 1 character like 2 wounds, or they're all dead. Bile is over here dealing with a Wraith Lord and just deal after killing all the bikes and killing this thing. This guy teleports back here eventually, and then by that point, his army's essentially been toast. Or maybe, sorry, I'm getting confused. Oh, sorry. Okay, I remember now. So he sent like a couple models over here. I sent Huron over here to like bait him out, because, you know, he had Yvrain and such. He had these fire dragons that came in to deal with Bile. The fire dragons almost kill Bile, but leave Bile and like 2 guys left alive. But eventually, that's where Yvrain is still up here. So Yvrain's up here. She comes down here to try and deal with Huron. And Huron loses a lot of his units, but not everything. And then when I rapid ingress my possess come in, kill Yvrain's whole squad, essentially leaving him with like a couple models by the end of turn 3, and that's why the score is like that. Where, you know, turn 3 he has like nothing left. Turn 4 he gets like 1 more score point, and then he's dead. So yeah, I'm sorry, I got the turn order a little mixed up, but that's what happened. Huron was the first bait into possess rapid ingress, and then boom, all that jazz. Bile was the first real one, but that's a lot of what you do. Lots of orders of baits. Like I said, I had these possess coming in to go kill the Incarn if I had to later. That was game 2, another handy win. They saw me stealing all the points, and as I do. Game 3, Awakened Dynasty. This might be a popular one for people. You know, Necrons is still factually one of the best armies in the game. It's still a hard to deal with, so you can see nice perspective how to deal with, especially a popular attachment. First, we got Deceiver. Then we got Illuminar, Ceres. We got a Locust Lord with the Veil of Darkness. That's the up and down enhancement, just like the from T-Sons. We have Orokin, Royal Warden with the Nether Realm Casket. That is the -1 to hit enhancement. I think it's just stealth. We got 20 warriors. We have 1 reanimator. We have a tomb crawler, 1 2-man tomb crawler, 2 doomsday arcs, 2 flayed ones, 1 locust destroyer, 1 Ophidian. This army is notorious for not being able to do any damage. He only has 1 Catan, though the best one into me. The only thing he has to do any amount of damage to doomsday arcs, and though they have blast, they don't have a lot of shots. You know, into 4 minimal save, not the most efficient. So there's the score. Another handy win. This is on, he went first this time, and this was Scorched Earth. Which going second's quite favored for, but it's mostly neutral. And here's deploy bit. Okay, very similar to last deployment, but all I did is switch the Rhino and the possessed over. I wanted the Rhino in the middle here because then he can auto advance 15 out of the Rhino either any direction. So I'm ready to countercharge. I have my possess in. This is a lot of where I would assume most of the action would take is around here. So I put my most important bricks down here, and then Abaddon same spot, bikes in the same spot. Like I said, he infiltrates flayed ones here and here. And yeah, so he goes first. Just readjusts his flayed ones to just like move block stuff. And then he puts both Amintar and Saris on these points. And that's about it. For his maybe like reposition some models here and there, but that's about it. That was whole turn one. My turn one was this. I took my army. I used the flayed ones as catapults and I went forward. So what I did is I actually, this one took it by surprise. It was just kind of unexpected from Huron. He said, I forgot Bile was in that Rhino. I was like, God damn, dude. But I took Bile, auto advance 15 forward, and went like, and started dealing with Saris. I advanced Huron forward, X amount of units. I walked my possess forward, whatever amount of inches. I advanced Abaddon into this corner where I could fit all 3 units within 6 after charging and such. Due to me not being able to base like anything, a lot of my unit could stay back and keep me within 6. Now I have 3 of my bricks in the middle, 3 out of 4 in the middle, all 4 binwell saves, all fighting his stuff, taking up all the primary on Scorched Earth, stuff like that. I killed the flayed ones on my bikes over here. I put the Rhino up here just to hold the objective. My bikes died. But yeah, like I said, I used the flayed ones as essentially stepping stones, which is what you do against move blocks. People have questions about how to stop move blocks as an army. It's almost impossible to fully move block an army. Like you need like 40 models, like 1 inch to 1 inch of each other to like move block an army, and that's just not the most realistic. Most people are like trying to move block you like 5 or 10 models, and what you do is you just charge them. That's why move blocking is not that popular anymore, because a lot of times it just gives your opponent movement or just kills units for free for no reason. So what I do is like I said, I have 20 chosen in the midboard with some Master, Maelstrom, and Huron, and I shoot them all on Nekusar. That's 8 combi weapons, all the special, 8 plasma guns, all the special weapons, and he dies in the shooting phase because he's an infantry model. He's only a T8, so plasma guns wound him on 4s. I have sustained, I hit on 2s. Combi weapons, dev wound on 4s, and he has a feel no pain, but a 5 feel no pain is just a 5 feel no pain to take a free damage. He actually dies, so that's his first death, and he gets down to 5 wounds. And I charge Huron. I charge my possessed into this flayed one squad that's right here. And Fabius Bile charges into Saris. I don't think I kill Saris. 4 feel no pains get there sometimes. But Saris doesn't do any damage back. He freaking 4 attacks hitting on 3s, and then bonk and maybe kills 1 guy that I ignored. I'm pretty sure he did no damage, or he killed 1 guy. So I'm in a very commanding position. He doesn't heroic with Nekusar correctly, because Nekusar would kill like maybe 3 or 4 possessed if he gets lucky. He doesn't even move them on 2s because he's only strength 10. And I have a 4 binwell save. This would kill him. It would send him to hell. He's the only T8, so they wound him on 5s, and then they would just dev wound him out of the face of the earth. And he would have died. So that would have been really bad. Or potentially would have been able to get piled in by Huron if he went, depending how far he went. So he kind of just had to sit there. And then on his turn, what he did is he moved his Locust up and brought Nekusar up. He ran away Saris. I reacted, moved Huron some way. I think I put him straight into this wall and just like shoved him into the wall. What he did is he shot his Doomsday Arcs and into the possessed and his Locust and blah, 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 blah. And he killed pretty much all the possessed and like some of Huron's squad. And then I rapid ingress possessed right here. When I boom, right here. What I did is I dived his DZ. I had Abaddon auto advance 12. We were like, Nero. He and then I moved my possessed. They all charged the Locust. I have, Abaddon charged the Locust, possessed charged the Locust, and then I had Abaddon pile into the DVDA. So DD8 dead, Locust dead, Saris dead. He had no points to res him. Yeah, here's the DDA 1 here to shot downwards. And then Huron charged the Warriors and sent the Warriors to hell. This is actually a big proponent of why I don't like Warriors. Warriors are the most feast or famine unit in the game. Against some armies, like a lot of shooting armies, they're invincible. It's almost impossible to kill them. But other armies, like almost every melee army in the game, they will literally one-shot all 20 Warriors in one phase, which is really bad. So it's like, you know, Necrons, especially for bringing multiple Catans, are very good at the melee armies due to just like being invincible, like things like Blood and stuff. But then you add warriors and your army actually becomes weak into those armies. So in my opinion, I'm a big hater of warriors, not a fan. That's why I wasn't running them. I was running a race. That's my opinion. And then, you know, this is turn 2. The game is over from here. He has, you know, this is about to be dead. But he has essentially no models left over. He has a Deceiver who made an Iron Shard to kill my Rhino. It's pretty funny. And so, yeah, by the end of turn 2, his last model he had left live was like the Deceiver. So we just called it. You know, I was just going to go kill the Deceiver anyways. Like, this army is a lot of melee, but it won't struggle to kill a Deceiver. I have so many attacks, so much damage, so much efficient hitting power. And if I didn't, it didn't matter because he's just a 4 OC little dude. That's much OC as 2 my models. Not great for him. But yeah, there you go. Another handy win. All right. And 4th game. This is day 2 on table layout 2. So we got a different layout. Better for my army, I guess, depending on what I'm playing against. This is against Garrett, playing Banishers. Like I said, Garrett, part of the Objective Secure channel. Watch him if you want to. I think pretty sure he made a video about this event. If you want to hear about it, you know, post a comment saying I sent you if you're going to do that. And yeah. All right, here's a very unique list. This is Banishers. If anyone doesn't know what Banishers does, because no one plays it, let's talk about it. All right, first off, he's got 3 Librarians. Librarians give you a loan up 18 ability, and they have a gun. He has 3 enhancements. A Feral Tome is a move and shoot ability, or it's a shoot and move ability. It's weird. So it's at the start of the shooting phase. You can move D6 inches forward, but you can't charge. But it's also cool. It doesn't require you to shoot anywhere, but it's just at the beginning of the shooting phase, you may move closer. But since it's not like, you know, fire and fade, it's the opposite. It's fade and fire. It's mostly there to just like try and steal primary, and you know, Terminator's OC3, so it's quite good at that. Essentially just lets you advance without advancing, which is nice. Or advance out of phase, do it weirdly. Sigil of the Hunt, that's the reroll 1s. It lets you reroll 1s to hit in the shooting phase. And then another Librarian with 66 steel, which is plus 1 AP in the shooting phase. And things like Paladins and Terminators actually shoot quite hard. Like Paladins get 5 special weapons, so reroll 1s to hit or plus 1 to hit. And I think they hit on 2s. Quite useful. So it's a 30 turn. Oh, specific rules that Banishers have. They have Dark Panics with no downside. They don't take mortal wounds. It's just in the melee phase. They can take a leadership test. If they pass, they get sustained or lethal. And all what it has an advanced charge stratagem. It has a stratagem at the end of the phase. You can shoot back mortal wounds. It's roll dice for each mortal wound you take. And then on a 2-up, your opponent takes that much mortal wounds. Up to 6. So if you like take 15 mortal wounds, you roll 15 dice. And if you roll 6 2s, you get to do 6 mortal wounds back. It's actually quite good. It makes you very annoying against like maybe Lancers and stuff. Knight Lancers, because they just like will do 6 mortal wounds in the charge phase. And you're not going to die at 6 mortal wounds in charge phase. And since it's the end of the phase now, you just get to shoot 6 mortal wounds back too. Garrett did the strat twice. It did 6 mortal wounds both times, for instance. So it's a very nichely good strat. There's some other niche strats. You have 1 CP, a 4-up. You get anti-psyker 4-up in the shooting phase. So it's like, you know, quite nice for maybe if you have a bunch of flamers or side cannons and stuff, or silencers. You have the old Misted Demos, if anyone played against Index Grey Knights. I think it's called like Mists of Anarch or Shadow of Anarch or something now. But it's one of the best reactive moves in the game. That with Custodes, it's probably slightly better. If your opponent, you know, moves with a 9 of you, you can either make an auto 6 move for infantry only, or just go back and deep strike. And since it's still in your opponent's move phase, you can also just rapid ingress at the end phase. So those are really the important strats. They're very good. This attachment that you do get, it's the best way to play Terminators because it gives you, you know, Paladins sit on 2, so they don't really need the 4 reels to hit anyways. You know, Sustain or Lethal is a good buff if you can get it. Especially for, you know, this army, because they're just capped at strength 6, so lethal helps a lot. And then advanced charge is very imperative for Terminator-based armies while getting the best strat in Grey Knights back in your army, which is the Shadows of Anarch strat. So back to what he has. He has 10 Terminators. He has 5 Strike Marines. He has 2x10 Paladins. He has 2x5 Interceptors and 1 squad of Imperial Agents. So this is the loss of the game. Very close game, as you can see. You know, I lost by 2. This was on Hidden Supplies, where he went first. Oh yeah, I went first. I think I went first. I don't remember. I didn't label it. I'm sorry. It didn't really matter in the end. No, he went first. Yeah. Yeah, he went first. What I did is I bullied him out of primary as much as I can. As I tried until some goofy stuff happened. I got my ass beat to me. So score very close. Did my best. I got more secondary somehow. But yeah. So back to the game. Here's a deployment. Very normal deployment. This is an army where I can actually just deploy out in the open because he has essentially no shooting that can get to me. He just moves 5 and could shoot. There's no advance to shoot except for that one squad is the pseudo advance to shoot. So I can safely deploy on the open, which is quite nice. It's quite helpful. That's why my Rhinos right here. This is also Search and Destroy if it wasn't obvious enough. So Rhino right here, Possessed Squad down here, Possessed Squad in the middle. First time I put both Possessed on the board. Abaddon just chilling in the middle. Huron Squad over here, Cypher right here. He has no way of being shot, so he's completely safe here. My Bike Squad over here, ready to go in the middle into the objectives. We took this power back. See, and my Cultist back here. He deployed, I don't know, 1 squad back here just to be able to move up and potentially shoot something if he needs to. It's the only thing that would be in range. That's why Abaddon's right here because I measured it out. I had I redeploy, so I redeployed Abaddon there. It's because this was 29 inches away from the gun, so I'm like, okay, I can't be shot by the important guns. Don't care, we're good. Rhino right here, it's whatever. If he shoots the Rhino, don't care. It's 15 shots, 812, whatever. It's probably not going to kill me. And then otherwise, he has Paladins and Terminators down here, Agents are here, some Strike Marines ready to sticky, and some Inceptors hanging around, stuff like that. So that's the deployment. Here is the turn 1. It's a lot. So I like to preach. I don't like to talk about complaining about dice. But Garrett was the one that brought it up. You were the first one to talk about. This was a pseudo silly dice game, and I'll tell you, there was 2 insanely big moments that did matter a lot. And like I said, it's not me complaining, but I just want to explain to you what happened. Garrett earned his win. Garrett's my friend. Good job, Garrett. So he has agents here, so I used it as a springboard. Since I'm okay, I need to bully his primary. I need to kill him. Anything I touch instantly dies, so that's a no effort. So I sent my Possessed down here. I advanced charge him. I didn't auto advance 6, even though I potentially could have. I got a CP from Abaddon, but whatever I did is I just moved up everything. Here's Huron stringed around. I think Bile's still inside. Here's my Possessed, and then Abaddon is somewhere. Yeah, there's Abaddon in this bubble. All charging this silly little min. And then I put my other Possessed over here. Or maybe I rerolled my charge. I think I did. Maybe I should just auto advance 6 then. I don't remember. So I got my Possessed. I moved everything up. I did all my movement. Oh, Bile's up here. Duh. Yeah, because he went here and he advanced this way. Because he has some Strike Marines over here. So he went first. Yeah. Because he repositioned his model. So he definitely went first. Yeah, he got some Strike Marines over here. He put his agents there. Okay, so he went first. Agents here. Strike Marines over here. Paladins right back here. His other Terminators, Feral Torment onto this objective. And he might have had some Inceptors right back here. So, I moved my army up and woo. And Possessed went over here. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, maybe I did advance, auto advance. It's starting here. I don't remember. So what happens is I charge everything into these agents, just to get a bunch of movement, just get on the board. My OC is insane. It's OC 40 on this objective right now. I'm okay, I could deal with all this crap. I'll be great. I'll be chilling. His Paladins are back here. They can't do anything. They're just all the way back there. I don't have to worry about anything. And then I'm moving all my models, all okay, you're going to Shadows of Anarch, Misademas now, blah, 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 thinking about all that, how to do that. He eventually does it on his Strike Marines back here to let him let him set up a heroic with his Paladins. I'm like, that's fine. But yeah, so we did all the movement, and I bring Bile in. I want to kill these Strike Marines, so potentially I don't have to charge into the Strike Marines, which shooting I'm talking about, or I can charge into the Paladins and kill a good amount of them. Especially since Paladins are only 3 damage when they charge, so if I charge them, I'm not really scared of taking that much damage. Abaddon's chilling with this 4 pin will save. I'm nice and durable for everything but Bile, because Bile's all the way up here. And I go to shoot the Strike Marines, obviously overcharged because they're 2 wounds, they have good save, and 3 of my guys died to overcharge. So I was like, and all my special weapons are on the special weapon melee weapons, so I lose 2 lightning claws and a power fist before I charge in. So it's bad. I do kill like 3 of them or 4 of them. I think it was down to 2 or 1. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, that's kind of unfortunate. What is what is. I gotta keep going. I go to charge phase. Like I said, I charge all the stuff in the middle. I get the bikers up here. I don't think they got injected. I think they're just hiding behind it. I charge the possessed in. I think I rolled like a 4. And I think I could get it with like a 3 or something. So I was like, safely, okay, I'll re-roll it. And I rolled like a 3. I was like, ugh. So I eventually get 5 possessed into combat with the 10 Terminators. I get the Bile into combat with the Strike Marines and the Paladins. With, you know, mostly just power swords at this point. And Bile and whatever. And then I get everyone in the middle into combat. So like I said, he heroics into the Paladins. 3 damage. I was like, okay, they're probably still not going to kill me. I'm going to fight first. I might kill like 2 or 3 of them after I split my attacks. That'll be fine. You know, it'll be good. I'll live. If I just live with 1 model, that's all I need because and he can't. There's no fallback shoot or anything, and the detachment's just advanced charge, so I'm safe. I'll be good there. And the possessed go in and actually kill 6 Terminators, which is 5 models, which is like not uncommon, but like. If I just got a couple more in, they would kill a little squad. And then they killed like, you know, like 3 back. Not a lot. Because they're also just the Terminators. They hit on 3s. The special ability is useless. So kill Strike Marines. I kill a couple Paladins. Maybe 2 or 3. Which is fine. Like I said, I just need to live. And he fights me and rolls, it's not an exaggeration, 17 sustains. And it's also Grey Knight players are always bitching like, we always fail our Banisher ability, never attach ability. He never failed one once. He made every single Banisher Dark Pact. But yeah, 17 this is not exaggeration, sustained hits. And pretty much killed Bile almost exactly. Like it was maybe 1 or 2 overkill. I was like, oh, fuck. And that was also combined with me failing 3 overcharges. So all those combined into being badness. So on his turn, he got to bring this other 10-man who just one-shot Bile's whole squad. Remember, I essentially have 2 blanks. And charged in, and it's only AP2, so I get 5 up saves or 4 ups. I think it was next to Abaddon, I was rolling 4 ups too. Maybe I wasn't. I'm not 100% sure on that one. And he charged into Abaddon and killed Abaddon too. I was like, fuck. But what I do is, you know, as you see by the points, is I have 20 OC. I heroicked, I think, the possessed in, or maybe they just were standing here. And the possessed had the primary because I had 20 OC of primary. They might have heroicked in and killed the Paladins, stuff like that. And then, yeah, here's it's all very cool. Here's his Terminators. Yeah, here's his Terminators charging in. Here's Bile, who kind of just stood up. He ran past him. It's like, I got better things to do with than deal with Bile. Bile runs away. He goes down here. Yeah, here's the makeup of the Terminators. I had like 6 or 7 Paladins left. And I possessed left after that turn 1. And then I blocked him off where he couldn't really res on the points and not enough to steal the objective. So I did stop this primary here. Obviously stopped this primary here. That's why I got a 0. Even though his army obviously incredibly high OC. Terminators OC 3. Paladins OC 2. If you keep the banner alive at least. And then like I say, charges an Abaddon. And I bring some possessed in. I think I do heroic the possessed. And he just goes to kill Abaddon, which is a smart thing to do. And I think I lose any possessed. And I think do kill most of his squad and stuff like that. And he's other 10-man Paladins running around, stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. And then again, as I see, I have my Rhino over here, Rhino over here. I think he's the only picture I took. This is a very stressful game, so I didn't take all my pictures. He took my home field, which doesn't matter a lot on hidden supplies. It only matters for hold more, which was also one aspect of why he got any primary. Because he wasn't holding his points, but he had the stickied, and I had no way of getting to it. I was kind of trying to. I was trying to advance up there. I kept rolling like 1s or 2s in the advances, like especially with like this Rhino. I was like, I can't go unsticky. I have to stay in the middle. And then these, like I said, these the Inceptors came down here. But then this is the other funny dice moment. Is he charges the last Paladin squad into Huron, and Huron has 16 models with 3 and 4 wounds, 53 wounds. He I didn't really say, but he only shoots once in this game because he can't, because of Blood Surge, Reactive and stuff. The only time he ever shoots is like into this squad when I have like 2 possessed left, and he shoots it with some Psycans. That's the only time. So there's no shooting to talk about. I'm the one who gets to shoot somewhat. And he charges Huron and hands me like 20 saves or 30 saves, and I passed 2. and he pretty much he overkills Huron by like 3 or 4. But yeah, the whole Huron's whole 4 and 3 man unit gets literally one shot by like 8 paladins. I was like, this is bad. And then I do eventually kill them. And so the score of the game is what it ends up is he has like 3 Terminators left and like 2 Marines left, and I'm a Rhino. That's the end of the game. So essentially, we're both fully tabled. Yeah, he has a tiny little Terminator squad, and I have a Rhino left. But yeah, so those were the 2 funny, goofy interactions. You know, Huron got literally one shot by 10 paladins, and Bile got 17 sustained to pretty much exactly kill him too, which, you know, made the game from decently favored of my bunch. You know, he's also, that's another thing, he's one of the few armies in the game with mass damage 3. You know, especially in melee, which is not a thing any other melee army has, even if they do have mass damage rates in the shooting, which I gotta do funny things about. That was the game. Hard earned victory for Garrett. You know, close loss for me. It was a great game overall. It was a lot of fun. All right, last game. Otan Mercenary Oathband. This is the new touch. Anyone has to play against it. Got a couple good things. It's got for every turn, if you pay 3 yield points, you can just switch your doctrine so you're not stuck. You can switch around if you need to, which is good. I don't think my opponent ever did. And then it's got essentially 2 good strats. You have, I think it's either they're both reroll 1s to hit and wound in the shooting or fight phase. But if you spend yield points, one is reroll hits, I think, in the shooting phase, and reroll 1s to wound in the melee phase in wounds. And the other one is in the melee phase, you get to reroll all wounds and reroll 1s to hit. So both those strats are amazing. And it has like an uppy downy, stuff like that, fallback, shoot and charge, all that jazz. So a bunch of good stuff. But yeah, so let's talk about his list. He's got an Iron Master. Iron Master is the one that gives you reroll 1s to wound. He leads usually Thunderkin. He's got the Etakarn targeting implant, which gives you reroll 1s to hit. And if you spend tokens, sustained hits. This also combines with Beamer Thunderkin. Beamer Thunderkin is if they're out of half range. So if they're past 12, they get crits on 4s. And they have lethal hits. So they become a sus lethal unit, crits on 4s, rerolls, potentially all hits if you have the strat and spend the token. Combines very good. It's also 7-2-3 with like 2 shots each. So very good at killing things in my army. You got a Memnir, which is the guy that gives you yield points or takes them away, leading some gun steeljacks. Uthar, who's the 3 CP guy. 2 Capricus carriers, the new transport. Like I said, a 6-man Beamer Thunderkin, 2 3-man Grav Thunderkin just to strip cover, 2 5-man Berserks with hammers. 1 2-man Earthshaker battery thing, 2 land fortresses with Magna rail cannons, 2 3-man pioneers, 2 10-man Jaegers hanging out in the campus carriers, so he has 4 or 5 mans technically. And then, like I said, the gun steeljacks. Okay, they're like Vulcanite disintegrator or something. It's 6 shots at 6/1/1 dev wounds. Pretty good. Let me fix this. Oh, you guys saw nothing. Here's the actual score. I just copy and paste my slideshows from the old ones. There you go. 80-48. This was on Lynchman. With he went first. Yes. So what I did, here's the deployment. Or maybe I went first and I just moved up. Yes, that's what happened. I went first and I moved up. So what I had was very normal deployment. Possess right here, Huron right here, Rhino over here, Abaddon squad right here, other Possess right here. They were deployed here, and then I just moved them backwards with the redeploy. Pikes and Cultists, pretty much the same as everyone. He deploys, he tries to make a wall of Jaegers, some cars over here, land fortress, gun dudes, car over here, transport and some bikes over here, not transports, the Earthshaker and Uther back here. So what I do is, turn 1, I just take most of my army and go forward. I take both my Possess and charge both the Jaeger squads. I'm like, okay, he has Beamer guys. They're probably going to one-shot a Possess squad. It's reroll hits, sus lethal on 4s, damage 3. Even if the 4-bin will save, I'm going to lose almost the whole squad. That's fine. This is what the army does. You have to, you know, put your dick on the line and just fucking throw it at the enemy. This, if you can't, if you not feeling comfortable doing that, you're not going to succeed in this army. So what I do is I just position Huron right into the wall so he can potentially reactive move and such like that, but otherwise not really be shot. I put Cypher over here. Like I said, I charge both my sets in the middle, and I get Abaddon exactly 6 inches from both squads. They both string back here, which is very good. So what he does, and then I send Fabius Bile, who's right here, auto 15 here, which charged a Jaeger squad and a Grav squad, or it was a Berserker squad and a Thunderkin squad, and then piled in to this tank. I was like, that's perfect. That's what Bile wants to do. As he wants to do, he's gonna have to divert a shit ton of resources to try and deal with him, or he's gonna wreak havoc in his deployment zone. So what he does is he moves around. What he also does is he reactive moves both his Jaeger squads to like try to move block me some more, stuff like that. You know, less space for me to transport it. And he has some berserkers right here, which he doesn't Chirurgeon, or they're out of range. Either way, if he did that, it would have died. It would have been a bad play. So he saves them. And yeah, so he moves down south, as you see, but his land fortress like down here. He disembarks his Jaegers over here, which is over here. Not Jaegers, sorry. The Thunderkin guys over here. And to try and deal with my possessed, you know, be kind of outside range, but not really. My army moves at lightning speed. I mean, his land fortress was right here. I think that makes, yeah, it was definitely right here, and the guys were behind it. And then he tries to deal with Bile. His final death does like no damage to Bile because like maybe one or two models at most. I'm in cover with my guys. I think he stays. Yeah, he keeps that's the thing. He keeps the land fortress in combat. So he keeps the land fortress in combat because he doesn't want to. He wants to be able to shoot and still do stuff with him. For most of the game, I think he leaves him out once and charges back in or something. But I'll say over the game, I'll just bury the leak because I don't think I have any more pictures besides that. It's Bile giving the land fortress. Bile by himself, he loses most of his squad eventually, or almost all his squad. Kills the land fortress over like 3 turns. It's every turn he hands him 1 to 2 saves and he fails it. Bile 3 damage. So it's like every turn, on my turn and his turn, 3 damage, 6 damage, 3 damage, 6 damage, dead. I'm like, holy shit. He was very unlucky with my opponent, but it was very funny that Bile just killed him. You know, there's like 1 to 2 lethals every turn, or 1 lethal, 1 6 to wound, and then failed both of them every single time, and then dies. It was very funny. So Bile just sold a land fortress with his 5-1-3 stick. Ah, bonk. And that was fun. So he wipes out a whole possessed squad, or like 9 of them with the dudes. And yeah, so that happens. And then what I do is I send downwards. I send Huron into the middle. I auto advance by Abaddon down 12 and 11 for him, but 12 for his boys. And I send the other surviving possessed downwards. You know, I charge the possessed into the the Thunderkin guys, and Abaddon into the land fortresses. And I kill both of them. They just all go poof. This one's still duking out with Bile in the middle, and I have Huron stringed around. Fighting, you know, stuff. He set up. This is kind of just what happens, you know, with the reactive move Blood Surge play of Huron. He set up some models, and I eventually pulled enough where when I did Blood Surge, the closest model was not this way. It was down here or over here, whatever it was. So it means I got to Blood Surge this way, you know, because the closest model was this direction. So I moved him closer to it, and then the people got to move as they do because that's how Blood Surge is going to work. So I got to run behind the wall. Huron lived with most of the squad, and then Huron died as DZ, and that's essentially where the game mostly ended. Huron had died as DZ. He had killed everything over here besides like 1 Capricus. He eventually kills my possessed. The possessed actually killed themselves, which was really funny. They failed like 2 dark packs in a row and then died like a bunch of dumbasses. But Abaddon's over here just like chopping people up. He's like, nah, fight. And like eventually takes this objective from me. He like puts a Thunderkin squad right here, and the bikes over here. He kills you know, the cultists and the bikes. And the game's mostly over from there. This eventually ties on turn 3 or 4 from Bile. And his DZ's fully taken over by Huron. And you know, he tries to get a couple more points on his last turn. Which he does. And then, you know, my last turn goes and I score all of them. You know, here's the primary thing. As you can see, this is linchpin. This is what my army's doing. He never scores a midfield objective after turn 2, which he scored that one, this bottom one. You know, a bunch of 3s, a bunch of 8s, and 15s for me. But yeah, that was the event. It was a great event. You know, I lost around. You know, 4-1 it's fine. It's, you know, not that impressive, but, you know, I was happy with it. 3rd place. I went in, you know, with literally negative expectations. I went, the list was named 0-5, and I was serious about that. I know the list is very good, but it's more of a teams list. It's a very designed for teams and getting good layouts and decently good matchups. So I don't think this army has exactly any bad matchup. It's just some very, very skews that don't really exist. Sentinel Legion's one. that does exist as a real army. But it did good. I won all 3 games on table 4, and I won 1 game on table 2. If this was a normal layout like 1s and 8s and stuff, I think I could have not easily won. I had a very, very likely chance of winning the game. Playing John would have been very hard, but we'll see that if that could have happened. But that is what it is. But what was surprising, because I've never been to these events before, is the price support was insane. I got a lot of credit, more than 300 in credit for getting 3rd. My God. So what I got is I got 10 possessed. So now I own 20 real ones. The ones I was borrowing were my friend Bryce. Bryce once again. But I got 10 of my own. I have 20 of my own. I'm good. I'll eventually want 30, but I got 20. And then I got a pre-order. I waited. I kept refreshing the page on the next Saturday, but I pre-ordered my 3rd Defiler in Craven Morton too. So that was awesome. That's what the title of the little thumbnail was. What I got. 3rd Defilers acquired. So I own 3 Defilers now, 3 ones. I don't need 3 printed ones, which is great. It was really cool. But that was just totally unexpected. I didn't come in expecting any support, especially for 3rd. So getting anything in a good amount was awesome. I also got some Red Corsairs too. I got 5 men. I've been building and painting these guys. Working on my Chosen right now. Look at that. They're next. I love these guys. I painted them all up. I got them all little Night Lord heads. My army is Night Lords if it wasn't obvious by my blue scheme. I love Night Lords. I'm not much of a lore guy, but I love their scheme at least. I love the Batwing helmets. And I got Conrad, talking as one of my not flying demon princes, one of my flying captains, Lords jumpbacks. I love that model. He's super cool. But yeah, that's it. My little rambling. Like I said, the event was awesome. I'm gonna go to every Layton GT from now on that I can. I'm very pleased with it. I'm very excited. The training was also great. The space was amazing. My wife actually came. Maybe I should have brought one of our pictures. I don't remember. Next time. But she doesn't go to events very much or ever. And she wanted to come and hang out with me. She came for day 1. And it's just another thing. This event was only an hour and a half for me. So I was fine just driving there the day of and coming back at night. So she says my wife was coming. So I didn't need a hotel or anything. And then we just drove back. And in the morning I drove back in, which is fine. It was awesome. Very preferable. It was a great place. Everything went great. I had a lot of fun. Would recommend, like I said, if you live in the Florida region or southern Georgia, I would highly recommend going to these. It was awesome. Other than that, I got nothing else to say. If you have any questions, hit me in the comments. Hit me about lists. Like I said, this is a teams list, but it worked in singles. So if you want to keep trying it out. Otherwise, I would recommend playing Terminators for singles. I think they're immense, especially with Craven Morton, who's legal starting next week. The app should be updated in a couple days because it comes out this weekend. But yeah, that's all I got to say. If you need any coaching, like I said at the beginning, hit me up in the Discord. Steve Trimble, pinned in the description. Other than that, please like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm getting close to 6,000 subs, which is insane. 10,000 is kind of a pipe dream, but that would be cool. If I get 10,000 this year, maybe around the time of Worlds, that would be a nice little anniversary. This channel kind of started because of last year's Worlds. It did start because of last year's Worlds. Eventually, I started it right before Worlds, but that's why it kind of blew up. That would be cool. So I'm going to Worlds. I got my ticket because of getting 6th at last year's Worlds. So I'm going to Spain. So I hope to see any of my fans there. I got a couple people to talk to me in the Discord community, talking about they already got their tickets or looking forward. So if any of you guys are going to the Worlds, hit me up. We can hang out maybe. Talk. Say hi. That'd be cool. Yeah, maybe I'll make that as a goal. Try and get 10,000 subs around the time of Worlds. Yeah, like I said. Other than that, I got nothing else to say. It's my little rambling point at the end. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope this was informative. Hope this gave you a little perspective about how this army is played, as much as I can give you from these little pictures and stuff, and me explaining or retro explaining about events that happened 2 weeks ago. But yeah, that's all. All right, guys. You have a great day. Thank you for watching.